I'm interested to see if Ford versus Ferrari
Mm.
will be on yours, Dave. James Mangold, known for Logan, Walk the Line, 310 to Yuma at the helm here. And
Damn right.
you got Matt Damon playing Carroll Shelby. You got Christian Bale as Ken Miles. And then a pretty solid back cast here, John Bernthal, Tracy Letts, Josh Lucas kind of getting to be the bad in this, so to speak.
That motherfucker.
Yeah. John Bernthal getting to be sexy Lee Iacocca. Shout out
Yeah.
Chris Ryan.
Quite the glow up for Iacocca
Yeah.
if you look up what he looked like.
Yeah, so Ford versus Ferrari. It's a long movie. It's like 2 hours, 20 minutes. I'm surprised they didn't want to go the Irishman route and just go all 3 hours and really, really do it. But what did you think? It's at 90% Rotten Tomatoes. Is that fair?
Oh, I love this movie.
Ooh.
I thought it was fucking thrilling the whole time. And I thought it was incredibly enjoyable. And the meta conversation around it's really refreshing too, because this is a old school, more traditional adult drama that actually got support at the box office. And I was thrilled with it. What did you think?
I was actually left a little bit disappointed, I think, and that might be my expectations for this movie going in were incredibly high. I thought it was still very good, but this felt like a movie that was made to be shown on like AMC or TBS for basically the rest of time. Like it has enough. It's
Dad
comforting.
core.
Yeah, exactly. It's comforting enough where you're like, there's nothing too inoffensive about this movie. Nothing that's really making me like challenging me, and then the moments that grip you really grip you. And it's like, this is a perfect movie to like put on, be doing chores, bouncing your grandkids on your lap and tuning in every once in a while to watch a cool racing scene or see Matt Damon and Christian Bale wrestling around, being good old boys back in the 50s and 60s. 60s. Yeah. So I think I was left feeling like maybe I went in expecting a little bit more from this, but still overall really well made, beautifully shot. The driving scenes, which I don't really care much about driving. Who cares? But driving scenes actually really got me and were very exciting.
Yeah.
Yeah. Overall, still very good. Just probably not as good as I thought it was going to be.
I think the important thing to know with those driving scenes is, as you said, they're incredibly visceral and thrilling to watch. They look awesome. And that's why this movie was $100 million movie. That's why the driving scenes look great, because they assumingly cost a lot. But they're effective and thrilling in the movie, even if you don't know anything about any kind of car racing. And that's really, I think, easier said than done. Like, heck, there's a NASCAR scene, right? He wins Daytona miles in the middle of the movie. And NASCAR, if anything, is probably the least accessible of all racing to people, because it's like the least thrilling to the average person. Just drive left for 4 hours, right? But I think that's what you really can't stress enough, that the action in the movie is really effective and well done. But you're right. I think overall, like the beats, the storytelling of this movie, these are all moves we've seen before. And in this case, you're seeing them all done really well.
Yep.
So if you're looking for this to break the wheel, it's not really doing that, at least not in really overt ways. But, this movie is called Le Mans 66 overseas, just because, Europeans know about Le Mans more than stupid Americans. Me and you did not know anything about this story going in, which I thought was a benefit to watching the movie the first time, because I really didn't know it was coming. But calling the movie in the States Ford versus Ferrari sets up this like false narrative about Ferrari being the bad people and the antagonists of the movie. And the movie starts you off with this failed attempt by Ford to buy Ferrari, and then getting undercut by Fiat, which is basically said that was Ferrari's plan all along. And that's really interesting. I think a really good way to start off the movie. That's where most of Iacocca's scenes are. And the more you watch the movie, you realize that it's really more about artistry versus corporate overlords and beating the bureaucracy, and
friendship.
How, Shelby and Ferrari were two sides of the same coin in the end.
Right.
And then of course the bond between Shelby and Miles along the way, and trying to juggle the two masters they're serving there, their own integrity and working for Ford. I really like that a lot. I like how that flipped on their heads. Maybe that's not as a surprising twist on the story for people that know the story of this Le Mans race more familiar. But yeah, I really like the structure of all of it, and just found the plot really thrilling. And it's also a nice, again, we've seen this before, but this is movie stars being movie stars, and Damon, with a twang this time around.
Yep.
One of my most favorite Damon roles in quite some time. As Carroll Shelby, I thought he was really good. And then Bale. I mean, obviously we've talked about Bale a lot recently, but this is Bale. He didn't have to get fucking really fat to play Dick Cheney this time. He just got to speak in his native accent for once and just kind of chew scenery. Yep. And when it's someone as good as Christian Bale, it's really fun to watch. So,
oh, come on. Him like doing the commentary in the cars was really funny. Here we go, chap.
Get there, girl. Get there.
I think it was nice to see Christian Bale just kind of like basically be maybe a tamer version of himself from kind of some of the famous outbursts we know from I think like the Terminator set. So it was a very famous one.
Well, that's funny because Miles is not a tame character in the movie,
right? He's not. But I think for who Bale is and who Miles is portrayed as in this movie, it's a bit tamer. But really, I think where this film takes off is when that Shelby Miles relationship really develops. You kind of see that from the beginning with the scene where Miles wins that like smaller race, but at the beginning he almost couldn't race because of the trunk issue, and how him and Shelby kind of like bond around that, and then seeing Shelby get tagged to be the leader of Ford's goal to win the Le Mans race. But as they start to have the moments, like when Shelby has to tell him that he can't go to Le Mans the first year, I think those sort of moments really set things up. And it actually brings me to, I think, the only character that really was not utilized correctly.
I know where you're going with this.
Yep. Molly Miles, played by Catriona Balfe. The scene she was in, I thought she was really good, but I felt like she basically just was a tool to humanize Miles a bit, to kind of bring him down to earth a little bit.
Playing the wife.
Exactly. And this is a guy's movie, and really the only female character in it gets very, very little time to do much else.
Yeah, on one hand, that scene where she's driving the family car and they're driving really recklessly as she's yelling at Ken and asking him to stop lying and being upfront about what he's doing and stuff. I actually like the idea of that scene because it's actually showing like more agency for her character and actually being invested in the story as opposed to just being a supportive wife. But you almost undercut it in a certain sense by having her do something obnoxiously reckless to express the sentiment, Yeah. So it's kind of like you're halfway there in terms of delivering on that scene.
And the funny part is it seems a bit out of character for her. I mean, she's certainly kooky in ways, but like she sees her husband and his friend wrestling and she pulls a lawn chair out and watches, or she tells him that the IRS came, and instead of like freaking out on him, is very like common level and saying like, I don't want to lose the house, like what are we gonna do? Then for her all of a sudden to be like driving recklessly like that, it's like, okay, I get that they're trying to like give her a little bit more power in the situation to feel like she's not just being dragged along through it, but this seems to almost not like undercut the message, like you said. And to kind of go along with it, I was surprised to see Matt Damon take such a back seat in this role. I mean, he really is like the Pippin to Bale's Jordan in this movie, which I did not expect going in. How did you feel about that?
Yeah, it's interesting because leading up to this, people initially were expecting that awards category fraud leading up to the Oscars, one of these guys will run in supporting, people seeing it, they're like, oh, it'll be so and so. That person will lead. And we find out they're both running as lead, best actor, and I think they are truly both co-leads. But it almost seems like, I guess in the promo, I expected Damon to be more of the leader. But I think they truly are co-leads. But Shelby has no personal life in this movie. It's all about Ken's. And I guess the personal life for Shelby is more of his relationship with Ken.
Yeah.
So
it's funny if you I think they left that out intentionally. If you read anything about Carroll Shelby, he's famously had many failed marriages, and I think actually one of them was like came to fruition during this time, and then I think fizzled out pretty quickly if you read his Wikipedia. So
interesting.
I think that was done to portray him in a certain light.
Right. Keep the movie more cleaner narrative.
Exactly.
Easier to tell. Makes sense.
It's interesting. I think the second thing I liked most about this movie was just the Shelby Miles versus the higher ups at Ford, and especially how that played out at Le Mans when they told him to come in together, and Shelby was kind of like fighting against them and trying to figure out how he's going to do it. I also just like seeing Shelby be like devious, like stealing the stopwatches and throwing like the lug nut in the ground to make him think something was wrong. That was really like nice touches to really add on to it.
Josh Lucas was also perfect as this swarmy dick in a suit. You know, he was really good at making you despise him.
Yeah, and Josh Lucas is an actor. I mean, you think back to Sweet Home Alabama, and like he also was like Glory Road. Wasn't he the coach in that too? Like I feel like he's an actor that I thought was going to be playing so many more like leading man roles, and he's kind of been subjected to these supporting bad guy roles at times now. Although it is nice to see John Bernthal not be put in that role for once. So
yeah. You just kind of wish you got more of him, just because he's so likable.
Any other thoughts on Ford versus Ferrari? Is this gonna get a Best Picture?
I think so. A nomination, yeah.
Is this
the first real genuine hit for Fox since it became under the Disney umbrella? What I think is a good sign for adult dramas from Fox moving forward. 31 million opening. So yeah, that's exciting.
Is this going to be the Green Book of this year?
No. This is not a top tier contender. You know, I mean, I think it's probably unlikely that Bale or Damon actually get a Best Actor nomination, especially now they're both running in the same category.
An already stacked category.
Correct.
With only two spots that are non-Adam Driver.
I think in the early prognostication, I think the Green Book of this year is probably like Jojo Rabbit, I would say. Which again,
interesting.
I don't know if it's totally at the level of Green Book in terms of that kind of sentiment, but that's where I'd lean right now.
Interesting. Yeah,
only November.
Jojo Rabbit. Only November. That's true, and a lot of good movies coming up.